Evening, welcome to this, yeah, not sunny June. It is miserable, right? I mean, even I'm getting like, come on, man, it's chucking it down. I'll actually take the sunshine with a bit of rain. No, that's the point we're getting at. Sunshine and rain would be good rather than darkness and rain. Oh, man. Alrighty, that's enough about the weather. Coming at you with why you can't feel it dieting. So I want to cover off. It's a bit of a mindset piece, but also a bit of science piece ultimately around why you can't feel it dieting. And this is for anyone who has been a yo-yo dieter. You might still classify yourself as a yo-yo dieter. You might find like nothing works for you, no diets work for you. But yeah, if you're joining me, let me know. Hashtag replay on the replay if you're on the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the YouTube, and hello Denise on the Instagram. So yeah, I'm gonna cover off a bit about mindset, but also the science between why you can't feel at dieting. And first up, I don't know if you know the definition of dieting. So dieting is ultimately anything you eat is a diet, right? So even if you eat pizza all day long, that is your diet, believe it or not. So you could lose weight if you stayed within your calorie limit and had pizza all day long. Now, you might not feel the best from eating pizza all day long. I'm sure you'd get bored of it. 3 meals a day plus snacking, whatever your calories would be within that. But technically, a diet is just that. It's like anything you eat. What I eat is a diet. What you eat is a diet. You know, what anybody eats is a diet. It's been coined through marketing for all these years and thrown at women about dieting to lose weight and all the crazy fads. So ultimately, you can't feel it a diet because diet is what you do day in, day out. So what you're really talking about is weight loss. And again, I wouldn't say you can fail at loss. Yes, you can trial and error and learn things, but you're not failing. What you're doing is you're finding out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So rather than putting this thing off, you don't want to start this diet, you're going to wait till Monday, you're going to wait till next month, you're going to wait till next year because we're midway through now. This coming up, that's coming up, there's no point, I'll just fail, or feeling like that fear of failure. So you don't want to start because then you're worried about, oh, what if I can't do it? Well, what if I fail at it? What if I'm no good at it? Whatever it may be in your life, this applies to as well. Then really it's changing that mindset. So rather than thinking about failure, you might have heard before about failing forward, but let's talk about you're either learning or you're winning. So take away the failure element. You're either learning or you're winning. That is the two ways. So when you're trying to eat healthier, let's call it that instead of dieting, when you're trying to eat healthier, may that be because you want more energy, you want to lose weight, you might have a few symptoms in your body that you're like, it's not happy about what I'm feeding it. It might be gut health related, whatever it's going to be. What we're going to do is change our eating habits to learn what works for us, what doesn't. We might win. We might find that actually this way of eating is the way forward for me, and this is the way that actually works for me. So it's that whole thing about going, take away the failure, the pressure of failure, the fear of failure that stops you from taking action and making the changes, and replace that with you either learning or you're winning. One of the two, learning or winning. And when we talk about learning specifically around diets, weight loss, to use that terminology, the learning is really what fits with your lifestyle. So if something is super restrictive, it's not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to do it for long term. And often that's where people get into yo-yo diets because they do something, whether it be the cabbage soup diet, whether it be like the keto diet, whatever it may be, that restrictive kind of way of eating, and then they can do it for so long and they get results because ultimately they're all calorie deficits. Every diet out there is a calorie deficit. It's a restrictive form of eating an amount of food or a type of food, which is going to get you the results. But if it doesn't fit with your lifestyle, then that's where you'll drop off it. So rather than failing, it's just dropping off it because it's no longer fitting with your lifestyle. So what's the learning? The learning is whatever that may be. You maybe didn't enjoy the food, maybe didn't fit with your social life, and maybe actually it was about too much work. Whatever reason, look back at those things you've tried and tested and go, why didn't that thing work for me? Because ultimately, what it comes down to is what is the lifestyle you want? Okay. So if you want to lose weight and you're like, I really want to lose weight, I'm going to cut my calories, not eat as much. And then you go out the weekend and you have a load of wine and you might have some buffet food, whatever it might be. You know, all the trends is around the charcuteries, which is ultimately cheese, fatty meats, wine, salty peppers, not the healthiest. Charcuterie is like so unhealthy. And it's that trend though, right? It's on trend. And then you kind of go, well, I've been good all week and then the weekend it's a bust. what's that all about? And it's being realistic. So it's not saying don't go out and have the wine, don't have the charcuterie, don't do the things you enjoy. It's being realistic about where you are and how long it's going to take you to get there. So again, the learning isn't, oh, I failed because I was good all week and then I blew it at the weekends and I binged at the weekend, I cheat this or that. The learning is actually, if it's 80-20 and the week is 80 and the weekend's 20 and I blow it, and maybe the weekend's a bit more than the 20, then it's going, okay, being realistic, if I do this every weekend, it's going to take me longer to get to where I want in terms of my health. It's going to take me longer to where I get to in terms of my weight loss, my fit of my clothes, everything else it is that you're looking for. So it's a learning again about how long it's going to take you to get to your goal. Now, if you're like, okay, Julie, that's all fine and well, but what about when I crave the chocolate? What about when I crave the crisps and the sugar? Then what's that? Is that a learning too? Yes, it's a learning about your habits. It's a learning about you've been fueling your body with those foods for so long that you now crave them more and more. Okay, I know for a fact if I go out somewhere and I'm into artificial sweeteners, so if the only possible drink, and because I'm allergic to apple and orange juice, that I can have is full sugar Coke, I know if I've had 2 or 3 of those, then I'll need to wean myself off it because my body will crave it. As soon as I have full sugar Coke, the next day after, my body will crave it. So I'll need to take about 3 or 4 days just to wean my body off the sugary Coke. And that's a learning. And I know that's a pattern and I know it's a trend. And I know when I have Coke, I then want the crisps. So there's that side-to-side habit that goes on. So again, it's all a learning. And it's not to say that I don't opt to do those things sometimes, have the crisp, have the Coke. I'm like, cool, happens, it happens. I know what the impact's going to be on my energy. I know I'm going to have to wean my body off the sugary fix afterwards. So it's all about learning about what you fuel your body it comes to expect. So when you remove those things, then the craving is just because your body's become used to those things. It's become dependent on those things like coffee, right? You've heard about people with the caffeine headaches. And, if you work with me, I'll say, don't have the coffee in the morning. Eat first before you have a coffee and only have a coffee if you really crave it. Yes, there's loads of people saying there's so many benefits of coffee. Of course there are. It's the same way that smoking used to be good for you. It's the same way, there's so many things out there that, again, with all the sweeteners, it's not proven they're bad for you. It's the same way that vaping is better for you than smoking. It's that whole thing. Everyone, if you look for it, people will find a problem. If you look for it, people will find a benefit. But ultimately, this is about what works for you and what you enjoy. So it's really about the habits and behaviors and patterns that work for you, take you towards your goal, opposed to the things that pull you away from your goal. And that's what we're talking about. So we're talking about you're not able to fail because you're either learning or you're winning. And amongst that is your habits, the foods that you've been used to fueling your body with, recognizing, do they work for me? Do they not? If I still enjoy them, I still want to have them, then cool. But what does that mean for my weight loss? What does that mean for long-term health? What does that mean for where I want to go and how long it's going to get me there? So many learnings amongst it, and that's why you can't fail, because failure is giving yourself permission to not bother. Failure is giving yourself permission to eat the crap. Failure is giving yourself the permission to binge drink at the weekend. Because what's the point anyway? The weight's just going to go back on and it's going to take me ages to get on. So get it off. So what's the point? I can even just look at a cake and I put all the weight on. So what's the point? I might as well have the whole cake to myself. So sometimes failure can be comfort. And I know that's like, what? But sometimes, because, the brain likes to keep us comfortable. The function of the brain is to keep us comfortable. And even if it's in habits and patterns and behaviors that aren't making you happy, you can be comfortable in that discomfort. Yeah. How many people do you know hate their job, moan about their job, will go get another job? Did they do it? No, I can't be bothered. I don't think I'd be good at it. We like discomfort and sometimes, we like comfort. And sometimes that comfort is in the things we're uncomfortable with, such as not liking our job, not liking our body shape, not liking the fact that we don't make any time to work out. Instead, we're just busy beating ourselves up because that's easier than doing something about the things we don't want to do. All right, so let's summarize. You can't fail at a diet. You either learn or you win. Failure can be a comfort zone excuse of why you don't try to do things, improve things, or grow. Okay, so that is the summary from this evening. Any questions around that, give me a shout. But like I say, you can't fail, you're learning or you're winning every day. And that, it's not even just dieting, it's everything. It's not just weight loss. You can apply that to whole of life, as I mentioned, about jobs, careers, money, finances, whatever it may be. All right, team, catch you tomorrow night. Thank you for joining me. I